What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Presents, sponsored by Promarketize. Don't just advertise, Promarketize. I'm your host, B. Wayne, and I am here today with Trace. What's going on, Trace?
What's up? Hi.
How's everything going your way?
It's going good. What about for you?
I cannot complain. All is well. Trace, how old are you and where are you located?
I am 49 years young and I reside currently in Concord, North Carolina.
So for those that don't know, Concord is it's a little bit what 30 minutes north of Charlotte,
Right. Mm-hmm.
about like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You
How
got
do
it
you
right.
like it out there?
Hmm.
It's quiet out there. It's slow
Oh, it's
or
so quiet. It's quiet, it's peaceful. Um, it's very rural,
okay.
considering that I'm a city girl,
Right.
I'm a Florida girl, original,
What part? What part of
Duval
Florida?
bound. Duval bound. Yes.
Okay. All right. I was actually born in
So,
Tallahassee.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Okay.
got
Okay.
family all up and through Florida. Absolutely.
Nice. I have family in Tallahassee as well, so that's good. Yeah.
Trace, how long have you been single?
I have been single now 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before that, you were in a relationship for how long? About.
Oh, then I was just gonna really tell it all. Sure. Over 2 decades. I was married for over
And
two
and
decades.
and see, that's exactly why I asked because I'm a person who finds the whole cat and mouse thing, the game.
Mm-hmm.
I find it fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Dating, love, relationships. I find it, absolutely. I'm fascinated by it. It's like it's
Mm-hmm.
something I'm very interested in that I would study if there was a course or a class. For
Right.
you to have been in that relationship and that marriage locked down 20 years. You get out. It's almost like being in a time capsule. You go in the 50s and you come out and it's the year 2000. How was it for you when you got divorced and you're like, you healed to the time to heal, I assume, and then you decide, okay, hey, I'm
Mm-hmm.
ready to put myself back out there. What was that like for you?
It was scary. Because if I'm going to be honest with it, it was very scary. Because I still am learning like this new dating stuff. And it's definitely not like over 20 years ago. I could just tell you that right now. It's just definitely not like that. And it's just like now everything is so tricky. Like you just don't know, And so yeah, I was and I'm still, I'm very reserved. I'm very cognizant and paying attention. I'm definitely, honing in the red flags, to save myself some time and some energy because I done been there and done
Pardon.
that. So I'm pretty, good with picking up on signs and stuff. But yeah, it's been a little scary and weird, but exciting all in one, if it makes
What?
sense.
Well, no, it does. That does make a lot of sense. Because I would imagine there would be a lot of emotions that come into play.
Mhm.
What were you? What surprised you the most about going back into dating after being in a relationship for as long as you were?
Mm.
About men, about yourself, about couples, relationships. It could be about regarding anything. But what do you feel like was the most surprising thing, the thing that you didn't expect?
Well, I can't say that I didn't expect anything because my motto is, expect nothing but appreciate everything. That's one of the, you know, uh, things that I live by. Um, I am just so surprised of how the men are now. They and I can't even really say like younger, mid, or older, because the way that the world is, where you have so much free access to booty and boobs and all this stuff. Everybody's doing all this augmentation and all of this and all of that. So it kind of gives you know people a view of, okay, I can have you, I can have her, I can do this, I can do that. So that was really like mind blowing for me, and definitely the loyalty, because it ain't none. It's no loyalty. I just feel like you know what shocked me was mostly of how fake everybody is, because it's a lot of fake people. And I mean, and they put on a grandstand finale show. And that's why you have to stay in tune and do self love on yourself. And you have to make sure that you understand so that you're able to discern through those things, because it's a lot of frauds. I'm just gonna be honest. It's a lot of.
Who's more fake, the men or the women?
I feel like the men, because they come in and paint this illusion like, oh, I want a woman, that can, hold down the house, have my back. She clean, she can cook, right? She can keep herself up, right? She can work any type of crowd, right? She's on her business about her stuff. You know what I mean? She's loyal, she's faithful, she's kind, she's genuine, she's my ride or die, through thick and thin. And then when you get it, you you don't even know what to do with it.
Mm.
You just don't know what to do with it. You don't know what to do with it. You don't know what to do with it. So that's been my whole spiel, even within my marriage. I was everything to my family and my husband. I loved being married, but I had to, it came to the point to where I had to choose my marriage or me. And I chose me for the first
Mm.
time in almost 50 years. I'm 49, and this is the first time I've ever chose me. And I got a lot of flack behind it. And it's like you men say, oh, yeah, go on, yeah, you could do your self-care. Yeah, I appreciate that. I this, I that, and third. Yeah, but where we gonna get the time to do the self-care? If I'm the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker, the lawyer, the doctor, the goddamn judge, the jury, the bailiff, the cook, the chef, the porn star. If I'm all of that, when I'm gonna have time to do me? And I feel like a lot of men need to retract and take some of that demand and pressure and expectations off of the woman. And you need to invest in her mental health, because that is the most essential thing that is going to normalize your marriage, your relationship, make sure you good, make sure she good. And he also needs to be working on his mental health, because it's a thing and we don't talk about it. And that's just like my last partner was like, he need no help. He need to see no psychiatrist. There wasn't nothing wrong with him. And it's not, and what people get, they have this stereotype about therapy, but it's just like everything else. If you break your finger right now, you aren't you gonna go to the emergency room, or you gonna go and let them put it in a splint, or you gonna let them do something to it, right? So that wound, that situation needs a repair. That's just like your brain. Your brain can't be going a million miles a minute and it never gets a chance to rest. And I think that's one of the things that men need to start honing on in. Ask your woman how she is mentally, and you're gonna get all of the sex, all of the you're gonna get everything you need. And it's just that simple. But I noticed that a lot of men make it so hard. Honey, it ain't rocket science. It's just not rocket science. It's not. It's not as hard as it looks or seems.
Why do you think that men, in your opinion, seem to make it more complicated than it needs to be or than it should be?
Two things: ego and pride. Because a lot of men have a lot to prove, and they shame. What are you ashamed of? If it's me and you and this our relationship, I don't give a doggone If Captain Kangaroo had something to say, I don't care. It's because at the end of the day, when we go behind closed doors and we do our stuff how we want to do it, it's me and you. It that's what it is, And a lot of guys are people pleasers. They want to look a certain way in front of people, and they want to they need massive validation. And I'm like, uh, okay, and it's like I have a question, and I know this early for the viewers. Tell me, and I'm gonna ask you as a man, what is the difference between consistency and routine? Because they run parallel.
What's the difference between consistency and routine?
Yes, they're very close and they're
Con,
very similar.
con, in my opinion, consistency is what you're striving to get to or adhere to, and
Mhm.
routine is how you go about doing it.
Okay.
Now, what's the answer? What's the correct answer in your opinion?
Where I feel like a lot of men get the two conflicted because
Hmm.
they feel like consistency is a routine and it's not because they do the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And that's what makes the relationship and the marriage boring.
Okay.
I don't want to Netflix and chill for the rest of my life. I would like to go out on the city. I would like to go out on the town. I would like to this and that. And I feel like after being with your partner for so long, certain things they shouldn't even have to ask you for. You automatically should know to do that. You know what I'm saying? That's just like if you cut your hand open, you think I'm gonna just sit up there and let you bleed out? I'm just gonna automatically go get something so you could apply pressure, call whoever I need to call to help you if it's that bad. But common sense just ain't common no more. Let me just say that. It's complicated. So my theory in routine is that guys mix that up with consistency.
Hmm. I
Hmm.
think that, and I'm a Christian, so I believe in marriage. I didn't ask if
Hmm.
you were a Christian. Um,
Oh, I'm
that's that's
spiritual.
that's your
I come
business.
from a Christian. Yeah, yeah. No, no, no. I come from a Christian base,
Okay.
but I'm spiritual. I'm more of a universe person, like a center
Cool.
person, like the
Cool. Cool.
like
Cool.
yeah, the religion is that ain't for
Yeah.
me.
Here's the crazy thing, and I'm not gonna get into all, but the crazy,
Hmm.
the funny thing, Christianity is not a religion, and there is nothing more spiritual than Christianity. This is my opinion. Christianity
Okay.
was misappropriated, and it was
Okay.
misunderstood, and it was
Okay.
deconstructed and reconstructed in the image that became more familiar to men to help
Hmm.
them, boost themselves up and make themselves more comfortable, as opposed to them wanting to raise their level of consciousness and understanding to become more like our Father. So Christianity is not a religion; it was made into one by man, and that's kind of what ruined it. But um, I think that familiar. So I believe in marriage and one man, one woman. I'm very traditional, but I'm not
Right.
religious. But I
Right.
believe that familiarity is one of the biggest issues we have with relationships, right? Because you
Right.
become
Hmm.
familiar, then you get comfortable, and that and
Yeah.
that that comfort breeds lack of care and concern
Yep.
and disregard, which can ultimately breed disrespect, which can breed
Mhm.
discontent and contempt in a relationship. What do you have to say about that? What do you
Mhm.
think about that?
I agree with it 100%. And then that's when also too it for me, I mean from my experience, it promoted division as well.
Right.
Because it's like if you in your own world and you comfortable and you doing things and you used to doing things a certain way, which is fine. You know what I mean? But where does the compromise come in? Where does the you know, um where does the togetherness comes? Because that's what happened. We grew apart. We just grew so far apart because My views were no longer his views was no longer my views, and it's like when God was removed out of the marriage 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm a prayer. Like I pray real, I'm a heavy prayer. I'm a discernment. I'm that type of person. Like I don't know how to not go through a day and don't pray all day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, talking to God. Okay. So with that being said, I always felt like the marriage was gonna go. I seen it go to hell in a handbasket. And the thing about it is that I told my spouse at the time, I said, if we don't this and we don't pull together, honey, we're gonna end up in divorce court. And that went in one end, it flew right at the other. And we ended up in divorce court because God stopped being the center of our marriage.
Mm. Let
And
me ask
he
you a question.
started,
Go ahead.
yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. God, stop being the
No, no,
center.
no, no. Yeah, yeah, and he made himself God. But go
Gotcha.
ahead.
Are
Yeah,
you? Do
that's all
you
I had to say.
operate? Do you operate? And I sense that I don't know if it's discernment or if it's just I don't know, but I feel like you operate as either an evangelist or a prophetess. Have you ever been told that?
Yes. And I thought somebody was playing. You know how like people just tell you anything. And you're like, child, some people,
Hmm.
whatever this and the third. But it's so funny because I was, and one lady pulled me to the side. She said, you know what? She say, um, you have an anointing on your life. And I said, and she was like, yeah, you have an anointing in your life. She said, you have a you have a spirit that when you talk, people listen and they tune
Hmm.
in. And I said, okay, I said, well, thank you, but thank you for reconfirming because like I said, I just, I look at myself as just an ordinary, regular Joe Smo, just trying to figure this thing called life out, walking through it, trying to, keep my sanity, grace, try to walk through it with simplicity and just, learn as I go. I'm a learner. Like I love to learn. I prayed that my next mate, he's a teacher because I want to learn. I want us to learn from one another. But the short answer to your question, yes, but I didn't believe her at the time.
So okay, you were raised in church. You
Yes,
were
I was.
raised to believe in God and Jesus
Yeah,
Christ. You
of
just
course.
admitted yourself that God should have been the center. You were prophesying to your husband, like, hey, we need
Yes.
to get this together, or it's going to end up like this or that.
Yep.
You said that
Yep.
God stopped being the center of the universe, the center of your
Hmm.
relationship, and he became the
Hmm.
center.
That's
So
right.
help me understand why, like, so you're not a Christian?
Like I said, I no longer want to put a title on anything. I just feel like I'm
Okay.
spiritual because I feel like I can learn from all types of spiritual people from
Right. Right.
Asia, from Indians, from it's just like everybody to me. I feel like we all, if your heart is pure and
Hmm.
you're chaste and you're a man or woman after God's own heart, we're all doing the same thing, but we just going about it a different way. That's it.
Hmm.
But the common goal is to make God, the universe, the center, the divine, whatever you call him, Yahweh, whatever you call him, it's a
Hmm.
higher power, you know what I'm saying, than yourself, you know. So that's
Hmm.
just the way I look at it. I don't really put a lot of, I'm just gonna be honest because, and I guess maybe I just had got a sour taste of
Yeah.
Christians from
Yeah.
myself because
Yeah.
I'm like, ain't no way God told you to do that or say that. Now, see,
Yeah.
you lying on
Happens.
God.
Happens all the
Yeah.
time. Happens all the time. And it happened to me the same way. When I was younger and come to find out that, you begin to idolize pastors and preachers and prophets, which is wrong, number one, but I was young and stupid. And then you realize that these dudes cheating on their wives, running through women in the church, stealing money. They're about lifting themselves up, got people idolizing them, they stealing, they're not really, they're attempting to make a mockery of God and his word. And they're gonna have to pay, but they're human. We all are.
They're
And we all
absolutely
we
human.
We all got some
Yeah.
shit with us. We all
Of
got some
course.
stuff that we hope don't nobody ever find out about, right?
Well, of
We
course.
have all
Yeah.
fallen short of
Yeah.
our purpose and our full potential. But we
Yeah.
can't. I had to get to a point. I had to leave the church to really reestablish and develop my personal relationship with Christ and get Him for
Damn.
myself. And then once I
Right.
did that, I saw Him for who He was, and now I can see myself the way that He sees me, and that helped me get to the next level. But I'll just let
Right.
you know. I'll just let you know. I don't mean no disrespect or anything. You have a calling on your life, and you are strongly gifted and anointed. And it ain't about the universe, and it ain't about whoever, and whatever, and these all these different. It is about Jesus Christ, the Son of
Yes.
God, the one true living God. And He's calling you, and
Absolutely.
you know He's calling you. And I don't know how long you've been
Always.
walking and running. So
Ooh,
you need to
for
decide to
years.
go pick up a Bible,
For
and you
years.
need to
Yes,
get on your
I've been running.
knees, and you need to rededicate yourself. Lord, my bad. And He's waiting on you, and He still loves you, and He's not mad. But you have gifts,
Oh,
you have work to do, and He's waiting on you to get yourself back in Him so that He can operate in
yeah.
and through you, because you have a powerful gifting and a powerful ministry and a powerful anointing on your life, and you're wasting it because of what happened to you through from some human being. And
Yes.
we all have our faults and flaws. You can't use that as an excuse or a justification to sit on your gifts or to turn away from God when you know the truth deep down on the inside, because it was planted in you from the
Yeah.
time you were very young, and you already know.
I knew for I've been knowing for many, 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 many years. I have been running from God probably all my life because I felt like, I didn't want the scrutiny that came along with it. I didn't want the critical, harsh judgment that came along with it. But I don't care at this point. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because it's like I done tried everybody else, and God already done snatched and ripped. Literally, He has ripped everything from me.
He's
And
going to
I'm
continue.
like, until I do what I'm supposed to be doing. I know it.
Correct.
I know it. I
Correct.
know it. And I even told my husband, I say, well, at the time I asked, I say, God has been talking to me so much. First of all, I stayed in the marriage way, 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 way too long. And he knew that the partner that I had would have never, ever let me walk in my purpose. Never.
Right.
He was too
Right.
insecure. He was too jealous. He
Right.
was my competition. And it took all these years for me I knew it, but I was fighting it, that I've been sleeping with the enemy for all
Hmm.
them years, you
Mm.
know. And now that he's stripped me down to the raw, bare bone, I have no choice but to look
You
up.
looking
And
you
I
looking for a
and
hiding
I'm
place. It ain't no hiding place from God.
it's really not.
Mm-mm.
It's really not. It's really not. And I've been trying my hardest to dodge. And he like, I see you. I
But the
see you.
blood, but you step into a whole nother level of blessings and joy
Yeah.
and peace and prosperity and opportunity. And all you got to do is be like, all right, God, here I am, and let Him do
Yeah.
what He wants to do with you. But that's, you know what, that's, you do what you do. He's got you.
I know.
He's gonna get you. So it's just a
Right.
matter of how long you wanna ride it out,
And
how
keep
much
playing.
time
And
you
keep
want to
playing with
waste.
him.
Yeah,
Right.
because
Right. And keep playing with him. Yeah. Yeah. And I
he's gonna
told
have
him
his way because He don't give up on us.
he don't give up on us. And
Mm-mm.
you're right. And I told him, I said, God, I need a man that can handle the anointing that I have on my life. I
Right,
need a man. He can't just be any man. He got to be a man of God
right.
who understands. And I pour so much into people, Brian. Oh my God. I pour and pour and pour and pour. Everybody come to me with their problems, relationships. What should I do? Advice. I've always been that person, the go-to person.
Right.
And now I'm noticing that I need somebody to pour into me.
Mm,
And I don't have nobody but God because I didn't have a spouse that was emotionally intelligent enough nor spiritual enough to foster and help me protect this gift because it's a strong gift. you know, and many don't understand. And I'm so happy that you understand. It's so refreshing that you understand, because when you talk to people and you converse with people and you say, what God, they kind of think you being arrogant, or you think you
Mm,
better than them, or you know what I mean, or you
mm,
think that you know everything. And no, I don't know everything, but I know what God placed in my heart and what God
hmm.
told me. That's all
It
I
ain't
know.
you.
I don't
It
know
ain't
everything.
you. It's the
It's
him in
not
you.
me. That's right.
And we
That's
serve,
right.
we all serve the same God. And like this, for
Yes, we do.
for anybody watching, you got to
Hmm.
understand. I don't. It does. I don't know. It doesn't matter where you are, what point you are at in your life, because I've been in some very low places, and I'm sure Trace can say the same. God can
Yes,
bring you out and bring you through. Had you seen me some time ago, had you caught me at my low place, then and you see me now, then you would understand God can do anything. So
yes,
whatever
he
you're
can.
going through, whether you're dealing with depression, you're dealing with anxiety,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
lonely, you're afraid, you're dealing with abuse,
yeah,
the divorce hits you
yeah.
hard.
Oh
Fellas,
yeah,
the kids are someplace else, your woman is gone, you miss her, you messed up, you want
yeah,
another chance, and she just won't give it to you. Whatever it is that you're dealing with,
yes,
insecurity, fear, doubt,
yeah,
confusion, low
yes,
self-esteem, God is a fixer, God is a healer.
yes, he
There's
is.
nothing that you
Yes,
can't
he
do
is.
in and through him. But it's all
Mhm.
about getting
Mhm.
yourself before him in his presence, reestablishing your relationship with him, coming back. All you have to do is turn around and take a step towards him. God, I give myself to you. And he will take it from
Yes,
there. One step at a time, one day at a time. And Trace
yes,
knows. You know what I'm
yes,
saying.
absolutely. I know exactly what you're saying.
So
And and like I said, it's easier said than done, but you can't go wrong with God. You're never gonna go wrong. You
like
just
you like we were talking earlier, I think sometimes we can make situations more complicated. And I think a lot of times we can look at a situation, something that an event coming up or some type of situation we have to face. And in our minds, we make it into a giant, right? Like the children of Israel, right? When they were about to take over the promised land and they were like, man, them dudes are giants, right? But they were focused on the problem instead of being
yeah,
focused on a problem solver. Your perspective can make a situation a lot worse. A lot of times I've been in situations and it was massive. I didn't know how I was going to do it and get through it. You do it, you look back on it and be like, you know what, that actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
right,
All
right,
it takes
right,
is
right.
the one thing that we don't want to do. A lot of times our issue is giving up control, the illusion of control. You don't want to surrender because you've been hurt and you have a lack of issue with trust. And then you look at
Yeah.
God a lot of times like a man, like he's gonna let you down, like this dude let you down, like my daddy let me down, like my ex let me down. That's not who we serve. That's
Oh,
just not who we serve.
oh,
God is unlike anything.
yes, he is. Yes, he is. And the thing that I want everybody to know, that you will always, always fight up against yourself, your emotional intelligence, your emotions, and your spiritual. Those are the things that the devil tries his best to attack, because he feel like if he can leverage your emotions, and that should be a daily prayer. Lord,
Hmm.
please help me govern my emotions, because emotions got some people some jail time, in the
Hmm.
grave, everything, and I feel like we all have to do better with seeking understanding. And
Hmm.
that's me. My thought process, if you say, hey, I went out and I bought a RV. Okay. Well, what was your thought process behind it? Like, what made you just want to get, that's me. You know what I mean? I want to know, like, what happened? What made you want to do that? You know what I'm saying? And we don't, a lot of us, we're impatient, but God will teach you patience, and you know that.
He
Mm-hmm.
taught me. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, me, same, same. And God is a God by himself. He don't work on your time. He don't work around your schedule. He don't do it when you tell him to do it. And he don't do it how you tell him to do it. He do it how he want to do
That's
it. And
right.
that's it. It's no in between. It's just all or nothing with God, And I'm blessed because I was so excited to be a part of your podcast. And I thank you for, opening up these dialogues to help us as a culture. as a black people, as women, as men, because we need our men. But the sad part about it is we get dogged out so much and so mistreated and used and abused by our black men. They don't respect us. They just take us for a joke, and it's so sad to see. You have a black woman is honey, let me tell you something. A black woman is a powerful woman. I ain't taking from no other culture, but I can only tell you about a black woman because I'm one. Okay.
Amen.
We can hold that thing down. We can make $20 look like $200. Come on. You know, and still we just get dumped, replaced, you know, just mistreated by black men. And we need y'all so much. We need y'all.
We have as black men and black women, we've gone through a lot. There have been systems put in place physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
have been created, that have been cultivated, that
Mm-hmm.
have been backed financially and in every other way to
Yeah.
create, to sow discord between us, to create division and dissension, to weaken us. So we're up a lot against a lot of obstacles, and I
Yeah.
believe that the path, the way back to unity is going to begin with self love and self respect,
Yes. Yes.
developing a relationship with the Lord,
100%.
and then we have to forgive one another, and we have to begin to communicate and talk to each other and not at each other. But we watch social media. If you watch social media and television, you get the impression that black men and black women hate each other.
Mhm.
That all we do
Mhm.
is talk negative
Mhm.
about each other when that couldn't be further
Mhm.
from the truth. You
Mhm.
end up
Mhm.
you lash out the most at the person that hurt you the most. And the person
Yeah.
that hurt you the most is typically the person that you love the most. And black
Yes.
men and women love each other.
Mhm.
And we
Oh
do
God, yeah.
respect each other. And we do need
Yeah.
each other. And we do
We really
want each
do.
other. Not only
Mhm.
as a race, but as people of God, as that has to be the priority, is to rebuild our relationship with the Lord. But I'll ask you this, and then I
Mhm.
want to move on to talk more
Okay.
directly about men. You were saying
Okay.
earlier that you needed a man to help that would understand you, that could, step in, get, hey, this is the type of anointing I carry. This is the type of woman. Can't you see, what I'm made of and what I'm working with and who I am and what I want to give to you and myself and God's people and the world. And you need a man that can understand and respect and accept and carry that with you, right?
Mhm.
But
Mhm. Mhm.
in order for that to occur, before God can send that man and put that man in a position to step into that mantle, to carry that mantle, the first thing that you'd have to do, or any woman in that capacity, would be what?
Surrender.
So why would a man want to step in and say, "Hey, I got you," and expect you to submit to his authority when you haven't surrendered and submitted to God's authority, right?
Makes sense. Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
got to come first, right? And
Yeah.
there's something else
Agree.
real quick. Understand,
Yeah.
everybody, we've gotten to a place where, and just like Trace was saying, and I've heard a lot of women say this, men are looking for a maid, a porn star, a helpmate, a entrepreneur, take care of the kids, clean the house, cook the meals. Like, that's a lie. That is a lie from the pits of hell. So let me explain real quick in like 10 seconds what a man wants: a woman of quality,
Mhm.
modesty, humility,
Mhm.
good
Mhm.
character, nurturing,
Mhm.
supportive,
Mhm.
honest, and loyal,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Yes.
Those titles that y'all have been misled to thinking that we do, we want a woman to be, nasty, you be our porn star? Yeah, but y'all don't mind that for a good man. You don't. But as far
No.
as,
No, we
taking
don't. We don't.
cooking and cleaning and all of that, that was a thing back when a man could work a job and his wife could stay home. Then yeah, you would
Right.
expect you
Right.
come home and it'd be something to eat for you, and the house to be, look decent, right? Those days are over. We both men
Right.
understand, and I'm telling you, as a man, we understand we got to get in there and help y'all clean. We understand we got
Yeah.
to get in there and help y'all cook. We un- if it was up to us, we would go out there, a kingdom man, a high value man, which is the kingdom man. We would go out there,
Mhm.
we would work, pay the bills, and you would stay home, and you still wouldn't be a slave.
Yes.
You would stay home, make
Right.
yourself comfortable.
Yeah.
You go out, do your thing. You want to start a business, you want to do a nonprofit, you want to, community outreach, whatever have you. That's what a
Mhm.
good quality kingdom man wants to be able to do. But as we're getting to that part, we got to do this thing, together as a unit. And there are
Yes.
forces
Yes.
spiritually and naturally that are doing everything they can to keep us apart and keep us separated. Now,
That's the part. That's
what
right.
what
Yeah.
what do you want to know on behalf of women? What would you like to understand or know better? Matter of fact, what would you like to say to men on behalf of women in this moment? What would you like them to know? Men, all men, black men, men in general, what would you like for them to know from your heart and from the heart of women, in your opinion?
I would like for men to know in theory and with facts as well. You know, we women, we're natural nurturers, right? Um, I know for me, and I can only speak for me because I know a lot of women that can't. What my downfall was with my mate was I forgave easily. I didn't want to go to bed mad. I didn't want to go to bed angry. I wanted to talk about it. And if you didn't want to talk about it right now, we could revisit it. But I had an avoidant as a husband, and he liked to just sweep everything up under the rug. And I kept saying, "Hey, that rug gonna pile up, honey, so high, you ain't gonna be able to go back and recover it." But what I want men to know is that when you get a woman that will pray for you at the like this right here, and that promotes prayer in the household and promotes keeping you covered by God and the angels and the heavens above, make sure, make sure you value her. Learn how to value women. And one more thing I want to say to men, instead of investing in all this stuff, invest in your woman. Invest in her. And I'm not talking about monetarily, okay? Because when we say invest, immediately our mind go to monetary, money. No. Invest in me spiritually. Invest in
Mm-hmm.
me emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
Invest in me, invest in me, on terms to where, you're saying, hey, I already done paid for you to go on and get a back massage because I know you work a stressful job.
Mm-hmm.
I work in corporate, so my mental is always being attacked. So say, hey, well, what you would like to do? I remember one time I asked my husband at the time, one time he say, well, what do you get a woman that has everything? I said, well, I know one thing I would like. And I said, I would like some vocal lessons, like some singing lessons, because I love to sing and dance. Like that's me. That's who I am. If honey, if that man invested in a singing lesson, honey, it's pen invested in the singing. Listen, and what I want men to do, no, stay out of your ego and your pride because that's going to leave you down a dead end street. You're going to be that old man on the porch rocking in the rocking chair with that old Halloween candy, hoping that one of them little children come up there and ring your doorbell. Ding, ding. You're going to be by yourself. You know what I mean? You got to learn your woman. And when you learn us, you'll see it's not as hard as you think it is. And I'm so sick of people saying, oh, women is so emotional and they're so this. Men are too. We all
Yeah.
are. We all have feelings, you know?
Here's the
So,
difference. Go
mhm,
ahead. Go ahead.
go ahead. No, 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 go ahead. I was done.
Here's the difference. And you're
Hmm.
100% right. But a kingdom man, a high value man, we we like that about y'all. We love the emotions. Now, I'm not talking about every time we turn around you crying. or 1 minute you're crying, the next minute you laughing hysterically. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying
Right.
is, it is a breath of fresh air to see our women's vulnerabilities through and to see our women express themselves through their emotionalism. When I was married, is it, well, you've been vulnerable. I'll be vulnerable.
Okay. Okay.
When
Okay.
I was married many moons ago, there was
Okay.
I wouldn't attempt, and I wasn't a good husband. Um, I had a good heart, but I wasn't a good husband.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? I can just be real. It is
Yes.
what it is. And,
Yes.
um,
Yes. Yes.
I,
I
I
know
I
exactly
was
what you
never
mean.
the type to try to intentionally hurt my wife, but you hurt her inadvertently because of a lack of discipline, lack of self control, immaturity. I could go on. Bottom line, to see her emotional, we have a little minor fallout, or if she was troubled by something or whatever, and that vulnerability, and to see her express herself, it was very it was actually something that helped me to want to ease her pain and make her feel better
Right.
romantically. You know what I'm saying? So, bottom line, what
Mhm.
I'm saying, your emotionalism. I know some of you have been, we watch rom coms and sitcoms, and women crying all the time and men complaining about women being emotional. There
Mhm.
has to be there has to be a balance to the emotionalism and how you express it, right?
Mhm.
Is that
Mhm.
fair? Okay.
Mhm. That's very
But
fair.
for
That's
women
very
who
fair.
understand, it can't be every 30 days you losing your mind and spazzing out. And it can't be every time you have a bad day you crying. It's like everything needs balance. But
Mhm.
as far as
Mhm.
emotion in general, we love to see that in our ladies. Our problem
Mhm.
is we have been taught from the time that we're about 8 years old to suppress our
Mhm.
emotions. So
Right.
we do not express ourselves well. We don't articulate how we feel. And then you get to a point where you're older and you're finally ready to be vulnerable and let go. And all right, I'm mature now. It's okay for me to be vulnerable. It's okay for me to express myself. And then you mess around and catch your woman on a bad day, and she can make you regret that one time that you got allowed yourself to be vulnerable. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh,
So
yes.
there has to be a
Yes.
give and take. We both have growing to do. We have to stop pointing the finger at each other. We got to
True.
say, as women, y'all got to be,
True.
in my opinion, hey sisters, hey, this is what I'm doing wrong. This is what I could have done better. This is what I'm not doing right. This is what I'm working on. And as men, hey fellas, we got to do better at this. We got to be better providers. We have to be better teachers. We have to be better
Mhm.
at expressing, articulating ourselves. But you have to have a good emotional IQ, and I think that's an issue with a lot of people as well. They're dealing with their own
Yes.
pain, and they're out here
Right.
looking for people to help supplement their pain, with
Mhm.
love, right? Because they don't love themselves, so they need love from someone else. Let's talk
Right.
about the type of
It,
guy that you would be interested in getting to know. Who would you see as your ideal guy? We already understand he's got to understand. He's got to be gifted himself spiritually, and he's got to be in
yes,
tune with
God.
himself. And
Yes.
what
Yes,
else would you
God.
what other aspects, what other qualities and characteristics do you see in your ideal guy?
Um, um, and I guess maybe this is where I like dig my own hole for myself because I'm really simple,
Mhm.
and a lot of men feel like women are not simple. I'm simple. Like I'm really simple. Like if you can just do the basics, because you got men that struggle with just the basics, and that's just what we're talking about, just general stuff. And if you don't know how to do it, learn. All this internet and YouTube and all these motivational speakers, you mean to tell me you can't learn nothing? Oh, you can learn if you want to. But at the end of the day, I definitely want a man that's supportive. I want a man that is very kind. I want a man that wants to fix, and I ain't even gonna say fix, let's say hash out, for lack of a better word, any inconsistencies or anything that he and I are having issues with. And I just want him to just, be himself. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so like I really don't have I don't require a lot. And I think that was my thing in my last marriage. And because I forgave so easily, oh, how that was taken for granted. Cause you was like, oh, I can do it, she'll forgive me. You know what I'm saying? Trace ain't got no heart like that. She got a heart, she got a real good heart. But you played on it and you took advantage of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, it's like I'm still trying to figure out what's gonna work for me right now in my area because I've already did the American way, the tradition, the marriage, the kids, the house, the big house, the home, all the cars. I've already did that. Been there, done that, honey. And they laugh at me a lot because I tell everybody, I said, the only thing, and I hate to say it, and I ain't saying this is for everybody, I can only speak on my story. The only thing that a marriage that long and kids got me was a high blood pressure pill. That's it.
Right.
It didn't get me anything, which I know ain't good, but I'm being honest.
I mean, you
But
speaking your truth.
right. And the other thing that I want a man that's going to take accountability.
Mm,
Now, that's my pet peeve. If you can't take accountability, then we're not gonna be able to move forward. We're not gonna be able to really do nothing. We're gonna stay stagnant. Because if you
right.
can't see the error of your ways, and if I'm asking you or correcting you, you defensive about that. How we ever gonna fix it? Well, not fix it. How we ever gonna solve it and move forward to ensure that it never happens again? Which
Right.
that comes in the pride, the ego. I want I don't want a man that's saturated in ego and pride. You could just keep going, you know, because if you don't understand that we all are flawed and we human by nature, and that's just it. I'm over it. I'm over the cliche. All of this about, oh, as long as a man give you money and he give you his check and he bring his check, that's old school. As long as he giving you his check and he bringing his check in that house and he ain't messing around and he ain't listening to her, honey, you better love that man. You better take care of that man. How about I love myself more? To know that I'm worthy than more than just a goddamn paycheck.
Right.
I work every day. I get my own paycheck. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's just that. And I just want a man that is going to be gentle, also that is a learner, and that also is a teacher.
I
That's
think
what I.
we have to tradition and religion have done
Mhm.
us a disservice.
Oh
And
yeah,
you
for
have you
sure.
have people who don't even have an interest in having a covenant relationship that are, talking the loudest and screaming the loudest about relationships. And you got broken men talking trash about women, and you got
Oh
broken
yeah.
women talking trash about men, and you got people who aren't even in the heterosexual community that want to weigh in on heterosexual relationships. And you have
Hmm.
feminism playing a role in how we should, handle our relationships. And you have a toxic patriarchy as well as a
I agree.
feminist, and we're going back and forth with all of these toxic ideologies and belief systems when
Yeah.
it's very clear if we can get back to who we really are, who God really is, and who we really are in Him, and His true intention and original purpose for men and
Hmm.
women to be together, I think that would help us solve a lot of the issues that we have. What would you
I
like to
agree.
say to the young ladies out here who, Trace, I've been married 10 years and, my husband wants to leave. I've been married 15 years and I found out my husband was cheating on me. I've been married, 12 years and I'm not happy and, we're divorcing and I got to start over and I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know which way is up. What would you say
Hmm.
to them as someone who has been in a long committed marriage, it went south and you have the strength, the audacity, as some probably thought that were close to you in your inner circle, to actually, say, you know what, I can't do this anymore? What would you say to them to give them
I
hope
would
about
say
what's
to,
next?
yeah, I would say to them, choose you, because nobody can do you like you can do you. Okay. You're not gonna find happiness in no man. You're not gonna find happiness in no relationship. You're not gonna find happiness in anything that you don't do for yourself. Take your me time, turn off the world when you need to, and reset as many times as you need to reset. Because this ain't an easy thing, and marriage ain't for the weak. It ain't, you know. And it's so much that comes along with those titles. And every woman that ain't being married dying to get married, and every woman that has been married happy, honey, she left, so so it's like, you
What does
know
that say about society? What does that say about society? The people in
yeah,
marriage just want to be single. The single people want to be
yeah,
married. It's like it's
married,
always
yeah,
the grass. Doesn't that?
yeah,
How
yeah,
how are we
yeah.
ever happy if we always feel like happiness is over there, wherever there is? How do
Thank
we
you.
how do we how do we get out of that?
And that's a good question. And I feel like a lot of it has to do with what you said earlier, self love. You have to constantly do self reflection, because it's not my business on how you treat me, it's how I treat you. You see, and a lot of times your emotions gonna tell you, because I'm gonna tell you, after so many years of like telling my ex, hey, I really don't want to do this. Please don't. Don't push me in the corner. I told my spouse because I didn't want it to happen. But then at that point, I was wrong and where I met my flaws in the marriage, and I took accountability because that made me start demasculating him, and that's wrong. Don't demasculate ladies. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't cuss them down to the barrels, because your words hurt a lot of times worse than you punching somebody in their nose. Sometimes people would rather just take a bloody nose than you to say some of the things that you say out of your mouth. But that was my way of trying to get him back by cutting him with my tongue, and I was wrong.
Mhm.
And I apologize to him for
And
that.
and and,
I
and
did.
I respect the fact that you can admit it, you can
Yep.
apologize,
Yep.
because there are a lot of people who cannot admit their faults and their flaws and take accountability for their own actions. Even because it's
Hmm.
almost like, well, what I did in retaliation doesn't count because of what they did to me. Or
Right.
I was
Right.
justified in what I did
Hmm.
because of this
Hmm.
situation and circumstance. That's not how that goes.
No,
That's
it
not how that
doesn't.
goes.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't. How I go, and and that's the thing, that one of the things that I wish I could take back, from my marriage, but I was so frustrated. I was overwhelmed. It was so much on my plate. I'm putting out fires every 5 and 10 minutes. I was just so overly extended in the marriage, and the only way I knew was to come back with fire. You know what I'm saying? Fight back with fire, and that's never the way to handle any situation, ladies. The best thing for you to do is just walk away. Before you say something damaging, just walk away and revisit it, because tomorrow I can guarantee you, you're gonna wake up, you ain't gonna probably feel that way. You won't be so emotional. Like, don't allow your emotions to govern your decisions. It's never good to make permanent decisions when you emotional. You got to process it, you got to think about it, because every decision you make trickles down to a choice, and a choice trickles down to a consequence, good or bad. So you just got to be careful, with your tongue. And I'm talking to somebody that my tongue was sharp, baby. And that's the one thing that I will not bring into my next relationship is my tongue. I won't do it. I will not rip another man, another black man or a man. Period. I won't do it again. I won't do it again. And I only was repeating what I saw. I was raised by a bloodline of strong black women, baby, and they didn't take nothing off you, your mama, or your cousin too. They didn't take nothing off of nobody. So that immediately kicked in as my defense mechanism. And I was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. I really shouldn't have done it. And I know that turned him sour and that made him feel a certain type of way. And I hate that I did that. But like I said, when you in high emotions, you it's flowing, you're not thinking. And that's what the Bible say. And Romans 12 is just such a pillar in my life that I live for, because in Romans 12 it say, be not renewed but by the transforming of your mind. Every day you should be renewing your mind. Because what happened yesterday, don't bring it into the day. Just try not to bring it into the day. I know it's easier said than done. Because a lot of times when people hurt you, you want to get them back. But you gotta let God fight your battle. Because honey, can't nobody do it like he can, you know. And that's my advice to the young women, honey. Take care of yourself
What
and
scripture was
trust
that?
your. That was
What
Romans
script?
12. Be ye renewed by the transforming of your mind.
And
Romans
finish that.
12.
Finish that thought. Take care of
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah. Take care of yourself. Just make sure that you have understanding. Never assume. Get your facts. Because assumptions have broken up a lot of good happy homes too.
Mm.
So in that note, you also need to continue to do the work on you as an individual and as a woman. You know what I mean? You can't neglect yourself. I neglected myself in my marriage. He didn't ask me to do that. I just did it. As most women do. Because we just do and do and do and do and go and go and go. And you look up, bam, over 2 decades done passed by. Okay. So what did Tracy get for what did Trace get for Trace? What did Trace get? I didn't get nothing. But then I can't get upset with him because he didn't ask me to do it. I did it because I wanted to do it, because that's how my heart is. You know what I mean? Protect your energy, protect your heart. Everybody is not worthy of your time nor your energy, because that time is priceless. And that's another thing I want my man to understand. Don't waste my time, because I flip. And I'm still working on that because I'm being delivered and still some things too. I don't like you to waste my time. Be honest and transparent with me. And that's another thing I want my man to be honest and transparent. I had somebody that was an avoidant and that was sneaky and that was sly. I can't do it. I can't do it. And we can't come together as husband and wife when you on one page and I'm on the other page. You know. So I say to ladies, you worth it. You deserve it. And if your time has ended in that marriage or that relationship, walk away. The worst thing you can do is stay, because it's not going to get better. I did that. And I just knew that it was going to get better. And honey, it got worse. It got worse. So that's my advice. Choose you, pray about it, talk to God about it, start preparing yourself, to make your exit, to do what you need to do for you. Because nobody's going to love you and nobody's going to take care of you like you do. And that is a ministry to myself, because I'm such a giver. I'm always taking care of everybody. I'm always making sure everybody got this, making sure everybody got that. And I just threw myself straight down on the ground and on the back burner. And most women do. But we got to stop it, because we're worthy and we deserve it. So that is what I would like to say to the women. And just
Amen.
and another thing, and one more thing. Stop tearing each other down. Stop. We are bad with that. Like, you're not my enemy. I'm not your enemy. Like, stop. You don't. I see a lot of women get upset because when the man cheat on them, oh, that lady knew he was married. And this is my theory, ladies. Listen to me very well, baby. If any woman can walk up or spill or spit a line to take your man, honey, that man was sitting there waiting to be taken. He was ready. He was ready. He was ready. Can't nobody take your man or your woman for the men. They was anticipating. They've been daydreaming about somebody coming to take them out of there. So don't be deceived and demised because sometimes you got to lose to win again. And it ain't a
Mm.
bad thing. It ain't a bad thing. Sometimes you just got to lose to win again. But if you don't take those lessons that you learned from that previous relationship, guess what you finna do? You finna go back through that all over again.
And over and over
And
and
right.
over until you figure it out, until you finally accept the truth. Romans 12. Therefore, I urge
Romans
you,
12.
brothers and sisters, in view of God's
Amen.
mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and
Mhm.
pleasing to God. This is your true and
Yes.
proper worship. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be
Mhm.
transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and improve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. Trace, last
Okay.
words.
Yes.
Anything that you want to say to the fellas, to the ladies, to God's people? Floor is yours.
In conclusion, I want to say to the men and the women, honey, be good to each other. Just stop the warfare and do the work. Get you a therapist, deal with your childhood and rooted issues or whatever trauma that you've experienced because people want to say, oh, no, I need. Yes, you do. If you didn't experience traumas in your childhood, you're going to experience them in your adulthood. We all experience traumas. Work through those traumas, the inconsistencies, because what we all should be working toward is showing up as the best versions of ourselves that we can possibly do. So let's work together. Let's love on each other more. Let's keep each other lifted up, and let's be good to each other. That's just all I can say. Let's stop being each other's worst enemies because the only enemy you ever gonna fight with is yourself. You your biggest enemy. So that is what I have to say. And I thank you so much, Brian. This has been such an amazing experience. And I am
Pleasure was mine.
loving this.
The
Yes.
pleasure was
And
mine.
I know that this is my calling. I know it. And I am, I'm just excited, for where God is gonna take me, what He gonna do for me, and where my life is headed at this time. I'm grateful, gratitude to you, big ups to you, thank you, um, for all that you do, and your efforts to try to get this uh platform up and running, which you will, and bring out the discussions of relationships because we do really need to learn how to mend and we really need to learn how to forgive and we really need to learn how to foster and keep these relationships intact with each
God
other.
will continue to lead and guide us, and all we have to do is follow
Yes,
his
we will.
will, his word, and his way. It's not as
Amen.
complicated as we're making it, but we do have some healing to do, sis. And God bless you. I thank you for your time. Since you enjoyed it so
Oh,
much, does that mean I can
gratitude.
does that mean I can get you back on one of these days?
I thought we was gonna do it Friday and what did you say? Friday and Saturday? Is that what you said?
So I schedule when my schedule is weird, so I have to
Okay.
slot people in when I can. But
Okay. Okay.
I would definitely make time for you if you are willing to come back because I'm sure that people like to hear more of what you have to say.
Of course, I would love to come back, and maybe the next time we can talk about um what a wife looks like to a man and what a husband looks like to a woman because everybody expectations is different. Everybody meaning and definition of love looks different and is different. So I
And
think
we have
that
to
I'm not.
We have to get on the same page. I agree, one hundred
We have
percent.
to. We have to. We
What
have
what's the
to. We
what's
have
what's the
to.
what's the common denominator? We have to have one source. In order for
Mhm.
everybody to get on the same page, we got to have one source. Like the
Oh,
origin, the God is the one who determines and dictates what's best. And the more that we align with his will and with his
mhm.
word, the better we
Mhm.
understand him,
Yeah.
what his intention was, not what we want, not what we think is best, but what he said in his word and what the Holy Spirit leads us to do. The more we can line up with that as men and women, I know the better off we'll be.
Absolutely. That's great. It is so true. And like I said, I definitely have enjoyed this time with you. Thank you for having me. And like I said, yes, I'm open to any other podcast. I love this. Like I feel like I'm in my zhuzh, like
You're
I
you're
feel like
you're
I
obviously and apparently in your zhuzh very
what?
much. It was very obvious and very apparent from very early on in this conversation. I could tell
Okay.
it was clear as day.
Okay. Okay. Well, I can appreciate that. And I thank you so much. I hope you have a very blessed rest of your night and a prosperous, rest of your week. Whenever you're ready, just let me know.
To you soon.
I'm ready.
Thank you, Trace.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Okay. All right. Well, have a good night.
You as well.